How we doing? Happy Tuesday. We are back with another live workout. Only 3 exercises, 20 minutes, and yes, it is enough. If you're over 40, tired of complicated workouts, this is for you. Stop complicating things. Stop doing the bodybuilder workout stuff. Silly, ridiculous, waste of time. You don't need to be in the gym 2 hours to get great results. And I know that sounds too good to be true, but guess what? If you do things right and you push yourself in the appropriate ways without hurting yourself, it works. If you're over 40 and you don't need to prove yourself in the gym, you need to protect your energy and train with purpose, okay? Try that again, Zach. Try it again. If you're over 35, you don't need to prove yourself in the gym. You need to protect your energy and train with purpose and a plan. This isn't about chasing numbers or ego lifts. It's about showing up consistently, moving with intention, and stacking wins that actually last. 3 exercises today. 1 mindset, don't skip the workout. Let me say it again. Don't skip the workout. Because at this stage in your life, strength is your responsibility. Just like the bills, okay? It's your responsibility, all right? Let's get it, shall we? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Hey, what are you looking at? Okay, we have push-ups. Screw here. Okay, push-ups. We have Y raises on the bench, okay? You don't need a bench to do it. You can do it standing up, okay, with dumbbells. And then we have bicep curls. Flip around on the bench or standing or sitting or seated. Do a seated, okay? I saw somebody try to do a push-up challenge the other day, and it really irritated me because nobody, and I mean nobody, out of 40 people I scrolled through was doing a push-up correctly, okay? Now, you know, I get it. You're like trying to do as many push-ups as possible. You know, there's a lot of, well, you know, you want to get a high number to feel like a real man. Well, guess what? If you do quality reps and you do push-ups the right way, you'll get more out of it. You'll stimulate your muscles more, and you'll have a bigger chest. Who doesn't want that, okay? So stop doing those silly, weird, I'll show you the wrong way to do it in a second here, okay? But focus on form. I'm not like gonna pump my ego up and say, hey, look at me, I can do 100 push-ups, right? Like doing a push-up really well, you're gonna get more out of it that way, okay? Now, if I'm in a contest, do as many push-ups as possible, then my form's gonna be awful, okay? That's how it goes. What kind of shape can I hope to get in if I only do burpees? Johnny, what's up, my man? Okay, real quick, that's an easy one, okay? You're probably not going to get in that great of shape, okay? Because 1, burpees suck. Who likes doing burpees? They're awful, okay? 2, you need to be in some sort of a calorie deficit or a maintenance calorie for those burpees to actually change something in your body. And 3, burpees suck. Oh, wait, was that number 1? There's so many better ways to do it, man. So many better ways, all right? Now, if you're just trying to use burpees as a tool to burn a couple extra calories, great. But honestly, you're not going to be building a whole lot of muscle. And if you're not building a whole lot of muscle, then, you know, you might as well be walking. That's pretty much how it works, all right? Johnny, does that answer your question? Okay? All right, push-ups to start, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go over this, okay? All right. A lot of videos I was seeing on this challenge I saw, people are doing the elbows like a T, okay? Stop doing that. Not great for your shoulder girdle too. Okay, another thing too, all right? When you push up, okay? If you're just trying to maximize chest growth, great. But guess what? If you're 35 and over, you should probably start thinking about shoulder health and just overall joint health and body posture, if you will, okay? And one thing you're gonna see with people doing these push-ups is they'll go down, and then you'll see you can grab their shoulder blades here. You can see my shoulder blade. You can grab it. And when they come up, they go to here. You can still grab my shoulder blade, right? It's winging out, okay? That's not going to help your rib cage, okay, create a better form that creates better volume and breath, and if you're breathing better, you're going to be more mobile, okay? That's why the stiffest people you will ever see, they can't breathe very well, and they definitely can't breathe through their nose. So to do that, you want to push through more at the end, okay? And then look, oh, you can't grab my shoulder anymore, can you? So doing that is also going to get full range of motion, even better, right? Or full range of motion, close enough, okay? So take that to the bank, all right? So let's go over this, right? And then the setup. If you can, get down here with the chest. Touch those chesticles on the floor. Push away at the top, okay? I'm not arching like this to push away, but I am pushing away so you can't grab my shoulder blades, right? Control on the way down. That's going to build more muscle too. Again, slow it down. What's the rush? Who cares about the number? We want maximal muscle growth. See? See how that works? That push through? Okay? All right, then push-ups. We're going from the push-up into the Y raises, okay? Another thing that's going to be great for your shoulders, also going to beat the heck out of your boulder shoulders, okay? Okay, higher reps with those, okay, for sure. All right, now, one thing you might be noticing is like, wait a second, when he's doing that, he's got a neutral grip. But if I want to hit my medial delts and my rear delts more, I mean, I've been taught that I should lead with my pinkies, okay? Yeah, great. That's going to be good for maximal growth. Okay, if you're a bodybuilder, great. But guess what? When you lead with your pinky, and again, I do this sometimes, but you have to understand if you want longevity with your strength training into your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you've got to be thinking about this stuff. You can't be training like a bodybuilder all the time, okay? And you can still get great results. When you lead with your pinky and your elbow, okay, yes, you're going to get more emphasis on the medial delt and the rear delt, okay? Right? Great, good, okay? We agree. However, when you're doing this, what are you doing? You are dumping your shoulder girdle, okay? Internally rotating your shoulder, which 9 out of 10 people in physical therapy that have shoulder issues, maybe even 9.5 out of 10, okay, have limitation in shoulder internal rotation, okay? So guess what? If you keep doing this over time, right, 1, you're going to make it worse, and 2, you're not creating more space in your shoulder girdle, okay? So if you do it variably and do it in training cycles, but don't always do it because it's the best way to hit a muscle. That's silly, okay? Ask me questions on that, all right? I know that's a lot. I know it's a little new maybe, but ask me questions. Hey, nasty guy, what up? Hey, appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. Lift life, brother. Hey, what's up, Fletcher? Got to practice that downhill skiing motion. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Ima. Faith, what's up? Yeah, hey, Faith, do me a favor and drop everything in there that I asked you. Drop them in the comments. That's fine, and I'll read it later, okay? Faith's going to drop some stuff in about her knees, and we're going to do a video on how to create a workout and a training program to burn fat with only upper body exercises because she's got some knee stuff going on, okay? All right, now back into the curls, okay? So for the curls, right, we want to try to be seated as much as possible because it's going to limit what we call axial fatigue. Oh, fancy word, right? But ultimately, there's just a waste of energy going through your lower body that we don't need, okay? It's a bad camera angle, but we're going to live with that. And then guess what? You can focus on your arms more. You can focus on your form more. You can focus on breathing more. And if you're breathing more, you're going to be moving better. Don't talk like me, though. It's not a good way to do it. Boom, baby. All right. Sometimes feel pain on the shoulder. Oh, you got shoulder issues too, Faith? Okay. Great. Hey, you got shoulder issues, you got knee issues? Hey, join the club. We all do. But guess what? We can figure it out. We can figure it out. There's almost always a way to figure it out where you can work out and feel better, right? You just have to be willing to change some of the things you're doing and change how you're doing them usually. Do we need to extend our elbows to 180 degrees? Okay, are you talking about the push-up? Is the shoulder pain on the right or the left? Yeah, and you're talking about extending your elbow, right? Like that. Oh, on the bicep curl, okay. Sorry, we were doing push-ups earlier and I was talking about the elbow. I was a little confused. Yeah, okay. So here, let's go over this real quick. I'm not too concerned about my workout today. Let's talk about this. This is a really good question, okay? So I'm going to do this standing so you can see a little better, okay? So if you want to beat up your arms good, right, and you want some toned, jacked arms, okay, great. Bicep curl is one of the great ways to do it, okay? But what you're saying with the elbows to extend 180 degrees, right, is like, whoo, okay? So it's more about where your elbow is in relation to this midline of your body, right? And so we know that we're going to get a little more emphasis on the bicep if we get that elbow in front, right? But to the degree that you get your elbow up and in front is going to be based off you and your body, right? We're all a little different, okay? But the key is, right, if you have some shoulder pain, right, biceps are great for increasing movement availability, okay, which is really just a fancy way of saying more space in your shoulder girdle. And if you have more space, you'll move better. If you have limited space in your shoulder girdle, you won't move as well, okay? And that's physics. That's not anything to, take that to the bank, okay? So how do you do that, right? When you're seated or standing, right, and doing your curl, I'm going to go this way so you can see. If I'm doing a right curl, right, I'm going to curl a little to the middle of my body, right? But I'm going to look at where I'm curling, and I'm going to blow out, look at it, and then let it go to my side, okay? I'm just not letting it go back here, and I'm not swaying with it. I'm using full control, right? And then again, look. Now the key here is, right, to increase space, air, and fluid, okay? You want to breathe in on the way down through the nose. And then blow out. Okay? And then ideally, you could do one side or you could alternate. I'm being a little louder with my breath so you can hear it, right? But breathing in through the nose is so crucial. It's one of the things you'll notice when you're weightlifting. You usually hold your mouth or hold your breath. It's not good if you're trying to create space. If you're trying to do the biggest powerlifting exercise ever, then yeah, you want to hold your breath and you want to like really increase tension. But for the average person that's like over 35 that wants to train to look good, feel good, you don't need to be holding your breath, and you definitely need to be inhaling more, because we're like water bottles. Like we have a rib cage and our hips. It's basically like the top and bottom of a water bottle. And that water in there, there's water and air, okay? And the more we hold our breath while we lift weights, and the more we don't inhale, right? We just we crunch up, right? And then that fluid has to go somewhere. And guess what? The fluid, when it goes somewhere, and you're squeezing, and you squeeze, and you're like, oh, it's week 6, and I'm going to get a PR. You squeeze. And then all of a sudden, the fluid comes out, right? Well, the fluid coming out in this situation is usually something breaking, okay? That's why people would come into the physical therapy office and see people, okay? That's what I saw a lot of, right? Does that help, Faith? Shoulder pains whenever you do a chest press too? Okay, yeah, so you need modified bench pressing too then, probably. Hey, Mary, what's up? Yo, you're not a man. Okay, what's up? I like the name. That's different. Thappa, what's happening? Are you over 35? I am 35, yeah. You have no muscles and you have no coach mentality. Just quit. Go back to your... You have no coach mentality. Just quit. You're right. We should all just quit. That's right. Dude, I feel bad for you, man. You must be having a rough day. Hey, I hope your day gets better, brother, all right? But we're not quitting. That's the last thing we're going to do. You see these eyes? These are the crazy eyes. Crazy eyes never quit. We don't need to know when we're going to finish because we just never quit. We get knocked back down, and we go, boing! We go right back up. That's how we do it, okay? All right. I hope that helps, Faith. Let's get back to the push-up, ladies and fellas. Any questions on the water bottle analogy? I mean, that's one of the most utilized principles of weight training and strength training that unfortunately not enough people know about. My weight is 90. I'm das good champion 2024. That's not good enough, man. You got to be champion every year. And then Faith, doing push-ups like this is silly for you. If you got shoulder stuff, right? You want to make sure you incorporate more of an angle like this, an offset push-up, and that's going to increase space where you need it. Because like the water bottle analogy, where we're doing push-ups like this, guess what? Our hands can't move in the ground, right? So guess what? When you push out of it, what happens? You're just squeezing your body more, right? So that water bottle used to be perfectly round, right? And it gets squeezed, and then it becomes like this long piece of paper, and then you can barely see in there. Oh, there you go. You can barely see in there. You don't want that if you want great mobility, right? Hope that makes sense. If not, ask questions. Wait. So this is a variation for me because I saw the push-up challenge, but I don't normally do these because I have jacked up shoulders as well from all the powerlifting I used to do. Boom, baby. We're just getting 12 today. All right. Our biceps looked pumped. Thank you, Thappa. Thank you. I try. Just want them to be pumped 24/7. No one explained to me this well. Oh, good. Thanks, Faith. I'm glad to hear that. I know what I might be saying might be like, a little new or controversial even, so feel free to ask me questions because I never want you to just like take what I say and go with it. Like, ask questions. I want you to get educated about your stuff. And we're all a little different, but ultimately these principles can be applied to all of us. And again, the water bottle analogy, I was doing it with a client recently, and they're like, oh, I get it now. So I've been doing more water bottle analogies. So I hope that helps you. But it's obviously, we are complex human beings. Our systems are complex. But ultimately, physics is quite simple, at least what we know about physics for now. And we just you hear like, oh, your body's 90% water. Well, yeah, so like if we're 90% water, we need to know how to move these fluids around, right? And if we're 90% water, what else is in there? Some air. So it's really about fluids, right? And we all want to focus on the muscles because that's what we see. But the muscles aren't going to do much unless those pressure exchanges are taking place in our rib cage and our hips. So, all right. Let me do my set here, and I'll stop talking for a second. That's exactly why I'm not doing them together. 9 out of 10 people you see will do them together. Why? You can do more weight that way. Yeah, of course. But guess what? If one side is doing it, then
that pressure is going to the other side, right? So we're getting this equal and opposite reaction versus if we do them at the same time, right? Where does the pressure go? My back, like I'm doing now, it gets more flat and pushes into the bench, right? And then where does it escape? It has to escape somewhere, right? The water has to go somewhere. So it goes to the sides, and then my front and my back get more and more squeezed together, right? So you'll see a lot of exercises I do are like that. All right, good. Hey, thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate you. Thappa, you should at least get over 130. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm not worried about the views, though. I'm just worried about you guys. Whoever's here, that's what I'm worried about. Yeah, I'm waiting for your push-pull workout plan. Oh, yeah, okay. Andani method for rep count. I think I've heard of Andani, but I couldn't tell you what it is, so I'll check that out. No, Thappa, I don't. I know that there's some chaos going on, but I don't know the full picture on it. I hope people are staying safe, though. That's awful, man. Just super grateful to be where I am and not have to deal with that. Something a lot of Westerners take for granted. I never want to do that. Okay, so back to the curls, right? Bada bing, bada boom, alternating. Baby. Whew. And you probably notice Faith there, like when I'm alternating, I'm looking, right? So again, it's the look, right? If you cut my body in half, right? When I'm looking, it's a turn, right? So everything is a turn, whether you realize it or not, right? When you're walking, right? You're turning, right? So the rotations and the turns, right, is how we move. That's a huge part of it, right? So in strength training, bodybuilding culture, which is awesome, okay, I love it, it's how I started, okay, shows you how to maximize muscle growth, which is great. But it's maximizing muscle growth is king, right? And then mobility or you know, I don't want to say flexibility. Let's just say mobility. I think it's a better word. Who knows what these words really mean, but we all have some understanding of mobility is like this amount of movement to be mobile and loose and not stiff, right? Bodybuilders are super stiff. So how can we maximize muscle mass but not be super stiff? And then if you notice too that the more and more you get stiff as you get older, right? Guess what? Increase of injury rises, right? And my big thing on that is a huge part of that stiffness, right, is leading to a lack of space, just like our water bottle analogy a second ago, and lack of space to move creates more problems because the system is forced to do something, to do what you're telling it to do, whether it's walking or bench pressing or whatever it is, and then eventually it says, I don't have any more space, and something breaks. Work out biceps at home without equipment. Yes, oh, you're from Nepal? I don't think I knew that, Thapa. Are you all right, man? Family okay? So working out biceps without equipment, a little tough. But you don't have equipment, but I'm sure you have something you could put in your hands, right? Like a heavy book or a backpack, and then fill the backpack up with something, right? So if you fill the backpack up with something and just grab onto it and do curls like that, the great thing about biceps is it doesn't take a lot of weight, right, to work out your biceps or your triceps, right, or your shoulders, because these are all small muscles. So you can beat the heck out of them with something like anywhere from like 5 to 10 pounds really is going to be fine. So I would say get a backpack, Thapa, and do your curls with a backpack, but try to do one side and then the other side, and then alternating 2 weeks later, and then together 2 weeks later, and that'd be a pretty good plan for, you know, at least a solid 12 weeks, and then you could switch it up. Where were we? Push-ups. These are great questions today, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, I don't know why I brought this over here. All right. I'm going to drop you to the floor with me. Faith, reps, sets, rest time in between. Yeah, Thapa's from Nepal. Thapa, give us the 4011 on the Nepal, man. I mean, are you okay? Is the family okay? Like, tell us whatever the news is not telling us, because you know you can't trust the news for anything. I don't even watch the news. Faith, reps, sets, rest in between, for what? What are we talking about now? And I'll give you my answer. Because it always depends. My favorite word, it depends. Or my favorite phrase, it depends. It depends. That's actually a good rule of thumb, too. Is like, if you ask a professional, you know, like a professional, what to do in a certain situation, their first answer really should be, well, it depends, because n equals 1. That's a science term, but basically, we're all n, and we all are individuals, and different things work for different people. So you got to know how God made you, your structure, why you're different, exercise history, injury history, all of this stuff matters to build up a story about how you are the way you are today, and then what do you do about it today to get better or reach your goals, right? Oh yeah, baby. I was feeling good, like that. All right, back to the curls. All right, Thapa given us. Does it change on different muscle groups? Oh yeah, I mean, so the short answer is it doesn't have to, right? But it will change eventually depending on like what the training program is, right? Like workouts to me are kind of silly. I have to use the word in my titles and stuff because that's what people think about when they think about training. But workouts are kind of just random, right? And then training is where you have a plan for a certain amount of time, and then you're consistently doing those workouts in the plan, right? And that's what really moves the needle forward for you. So my coach says 12 reps with 1 minute break. Yeah, so like that's a really good rule of thumb, especially if you have like, if you're 1, 2, or 3 years into training, that's a really good rule. But ideally, Faith, I would like to see that change every 4 to 6 weeks probably to challenge you more. But again, it's super individual to you where you're at, right? But again, it turns into more of a training program if that changes over time. and then you go back to it, right? Like a beautiful way to progress could be, like you said, 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps, right? And then about 60 seconds rest, but you don't always need 60 seconds, especially after the first set, right? And then you do that for 4 to 6 weeks, and then I would say, okay, let's add a set, right? Or you could say, let's go a little heavier and go like 6 to 10 or 8 to 10 reps, right? Or you could say, keep 3 sets and let's go 12 to 16, which I really like 12 to 16. For you know, a first, second, or third year training person that relatively new to working out, higher reps usually is a much better place for them to train because you can get used to the exercises. You can get more reps in, and what are reps? Like, it's practice. You're getting more practice in. You're going to get more used to it, and then guess what? You also get more volume that way, potentially, right? So you get good results, and because you're in your first, second, or third year of training, you're going to get great results no matter what you do as long as you're consistent. And so I think that's really the most important thing. Thank you, Faith. I'm glad you liked it. I really like the idea, though, that you were giving me of, like, what if we do a long-form video, and I might do it on the live, and then I'll chop it up. I got to find a video editor. There's just too much on my plate to start editing. I like editing video, I just don't have time. But anyways, for you, I will do this video, okay? We'll say something like, you know, a upper body only fat loss program, right? And so how do we work out the upper body, not the lower body, but still burn fat? Even losing weight to me, right? It's like, we don't necessarily want to lose weight. Like, what is weight? It's a lot of things. It's fat, it's muscle, it's connective tissue, right? It's a lot of things. It's our organs, all that up. So we want to burn fat, right? Build a little more muscle, right? And then that's what everybody wants. Like, even if you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. Every man and woman want to get more toned. You want to see a little more muscle, pretty much everybody, right? And then be a little more lean, which is just burning fat, right? So how do you do that? So that'll be, I'm running out of breath. That'll be one of my next videos I do, okay? For you, I promise. It's great, though. I love it. It's a good idea. I think a lot of people will get a lot out of it. So I appreciate all your comments today, too, because that'll help me make the video. Any questions, more questions you got, just add them in, okay? All right. I need another video of yours on proper warm-up and cool-down. Okay, yeah. Any exercise that doesn't give pressure to the knees. Yeah, okay, good. I like the knee thing because I think a lot of people have knee problems, right? So how can we work out without adding more pressure to the knees? I think that's great. Let's do that, okay? But we'll start with upper body first, and maybe we can just like build out a series for it. That'd be cool too. I've been looking for some ideas for people to really help them out and get going, so that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then the proper warm-up and cool-down, yeah. So, yeah, I'll do a video on that too. Warm-up and cool-down is always a controversial freaking topic, right? But it's like, ideally, like most simply, okay? Breathing to me is so important and we just don't do it, right? And some coaches out there might call them resets or something like that. But essentially, you are setting your posture in a place where it is ready to work out. Like, that's kind of what that means, right? And then the cool-down is important, right? But the warm-up's probably a little more important. So I know a lot of people skip both. So if you're going to skip one, skip the cool-down. I'm not saying you should skip either, okay? But ideally, the warm-up is more important. And then the warm-up really can be based on, one, the whole body. You want to get the whole body warm, basically. You want to warm up the whole body. And then whatever muscles you're going to do, like we do a lot of full body stuff on this channel, right? So we're going to warm up everything, right? But if you were like going to do push-ups and a bench press and some arm work, right? You would warm up with those exercises, but with lighter weight and just higher reps. And then you are warming up those muscles specifically in the exercises you plan on using them in. But ideally, you want to add some breathing into this, okay? That's the big thing most people miss. Bodybuilders totally don't even talk about it, which is really unfortunate. But again, a bodybuilder is like trying to build the most muscle. They're not concerned about breathing, which is fair, okay? If you're competing in bodybuilding, then forget it, right? I get that. But on this channel, we're talking about how you can sustainably train hard, right? Build muscle, burn fat, feel good while doing it, and then recover from all of that, and then still feel good the next day. Because it is possible. It seems like, oh, I can do it all. Yeah, you can, though. You know, now, you're not maximizing results. That's what people don't get, right? I mean, I've been training like this for over 5 years now, okay? Like, I'm not a small man, okay? Most people would say, yeah, Zach is very athletic looking. Okay, great. That's what I'm going for. Was I like way bigger like 8 years ago? Yeah, I was. But I was maximizing, right? Instead of thinking about the long-term sustainability of my training, right? And I started to realize I was going to blow my back out and I was going to blow my knees out and I couldn't play basketball, which I love playing basketball. And I'm not going to give that up. I refuse. So I had to train smarter. And training smarter means somebody else is training dumber. I don't necessarily mean that. But we're training for the long term. And just like all of us want to build our finances, right? We want to have more money in the long run. We're not going to think about like gambling on a lotto ticket or a crypto coin today. We're going to say, how much can we save this week? And then keep doing that. And then if we save $5 today and $5 next week, those $5 compound over time. And then all of a sudden, you know, oh, I'm rich, right? But essentially that's what we're doing, right? With our finances, or hopefully we are thinking that way. And that is a long-term thinking versus short-term, like summer's here, let's go. I'm going to jump on a diet and then just beat up my body and then, oh, my joints are going to hurt. But man, I have a six-pack this summer, right? Like short-term thinking is only going to set you up for failure in the long run, right? And so that's where I get that from. And that's where I really changed over time because I saw my clients were getting in more pain. And we get great results and then they just fall back, right? And why were they falling back? It drove me nuts. And so I finally figured out, I was like, oh, we are maximizing for gains in the short term instead of saying, how can we almost get these gains? Not as good, like 80%, right? How can we get 80%? But then maintain them and then slowly build on them over time and then be 60, 70, and 80 and still doing the things that we love, right? That's what it's about because you don't want to be 40 or 50. And I used to be in a physical therapy office all the time and see people that were just like broken because of their injury. And then that would set them up for so many other negative consequences, right? So thinking in the long term is so important. My rant is over now. Sam, what's up, my man? Do you play badminton? I don't play badminton. I actually cannot stand badminton. It's so random you say that, Sam. But you know what I really like that's kind of similar? Pickleball, man. I'm on the pickleball bandwagon. It's so much fun. But anyways, please do not redeem. All right, Bahat, welcome, man. Hope you get some good sleep tonight, brother. Stay safe out there. Tailored one on the warm-up and cool down, please. Okay, yeah, you got it, Faith. You got it. Awesome. All right, guys, we went like double the time today, but we had so many good questions. It was great. I'm so glad. So unless anybody's got anything right now, I'm going to end the stream. Great workout today. If you see this later on, just drop questions in the comments, okay? And then I'll get back to you. My email list is in the description. That's the best way to get a hold of me. That's the best way to get a weekly email, just to remind you of these things. Because the world, right, most of the world, right, is about the short term. And then I'll like chime in every Friday and be like, hey, what are you doing? Let's get together. Let's think about this in the long term, the sustainable way, right? And get in that mindset because it's so important. And you can get such good results with it, okay? So if you want that, drop in. It's free.